that one's going
that
to
was
deflect
nice.
through.
Oh my goodness,
What
what
a-
a pass and what a goal.
Oh, what a motion.
He's going to have a shot on goal. That's going to go in. What a play.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to a new segment that we like to call PK Corner. I'm Pete Winslow. Along with me is Katie Pierce. And our first guest, I feel like it has to be the man himself, the new president, Nathan Mayer. Nathan, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Pete and Katie. I'm super excited for this. This is going to be a great show, I think.
Yeah, so just to give people a little bit of background on what this is, it's basically just a get to know you segment. Obviously, we want to shed as much light on the group and community in the power soccer world. Just getting to know everybody. I feel like we see everybody at tournaments and nationals and everything, but when you really get to know people like this is, I feel like, really fun for everybody just to get to know you. Not when you're playing, because everybody's so busy with games and stuff. I just feel like it's a lot easier to get to know people when we ask them random questions that we're going to ask you tonight.
Great. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Very random. Be prepared.
I cannot wait. Yeah, no, I'm excited. But I would say people know the athletic side of me, so I'm super excited to. A lot of people into my other parts of my world too.
So Nathan, let's start out with just talking about your background in power soccer, like how you got into it, how long you've been playing, that kind of thing. Obviously, you and I go way back, but for those who
Yeah.
don't know, just how did you get your start in the sport?
Yeah, very young. I'm very old now. No, I'm kidding. I'm 27 now. I've been playing for 20 years, so you do the math. I started around the age of 7. I've always been a sports guy. My family um, has sports in their blood, and I've always wanted to be competitive. Um, and at the time, I was doing um, adaptive T-ball and adaptive floor hockey, and that was great. It was fun. It was cool. It allowed me to play a sport, but it really wasn't super competitive. And one day I was at a baseball tournament, and somebody came up to us and said, "Hey, have you tried power soccer?" And I said no. And I went to a practice the following weekend, and I fell in love. From the moment I hit uh, that really big ball that we used to play with uh, back in the day with the plastic guard, I knew that I kind of found a sport that really fit me and who I was. So
I've never seen that before. I'm kind of new to the sport. And I'd love to see what that looked like.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the plastic guard and the giant ball. So that was like, I think I got in the sport like the year everything changed. So I ended up
mhm.
missing that. And Katie, believe it or not, we were also not allowed to go backwards back then. Like that was just like
Oh
illegal.
no.
And
Yeah,
so
and yep.
Wow.
and
And I
so
think,
this ball was like, how much bigger was the ball, Nathan?
oh man, I would say it was at least 3 or 4 times bigger than what we use now. It was
Oh
big.
wow.
It stood as almost as tall as like my hand or something.
Okay, so our next question, I liked all that. It's cool to kind of hear how far your background goes. That's pretty amazing. Um,
Mhm.
20 years of power soccer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My next question is, what athlete do you like aspire to be like the most, or what athlete influences you the most?
Like within power soccer or just kind of in
Within
general?
power soccer, within sports in general, whatever, whoever inspires you, or just like who you want to be like the most.
Yeah, for sure. An athlete that I always look to or I always kind of think about like how he would approach the game. I really like how uh, Steph Curry kind of approaches the game. With basketball, I just really like how his mentality is on the court, and then just kind of how he approaches life and the media and everything off the floor. He has an insane work ethic. I subscribed to the platform called Masterclass, and I did that in order to watch Steph Curry's thing and like how he shoots and how he does all that. I will never in my entire life ever shoot a basketball, but I wanted to see how he approached his training, his mindset, and everything. So I wasn't doing it to buy or to learn how to shoot a basketball, but it really um, taken parts of his mentality and his approach and kind of how I can relate that to my game is something that I really want to do.
Yeah, I think that like it's really important, Nathan, that like obviously, you guys don't play the same sport. And we see that a lot, right? A lot of our idols, a lot of people we look up to. But there's always something that we can take from people, I feel like, even if it's
Yeah,
not the same sport. Like you said, you're not in it to, splash threes like Steph Curry. Even though that'd be
yeah,
pretty sick with your robot arm. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get there one
it
day.
it would.
That would
But
be cool.
yeah, but like just to see how he approaches every shot, because again, that's something we do. We approach every play, every kick, every whatever, and just have that mentality and like the technique and the work ethic. And I think that's such an important thing for people to know that, like, yes, we don't play the same sport, we don't do necessarily the same things, but
Yep.
the approach can be the mental side, or just like, changing your perspective on things, I feel like is super important. Like I remember, obviously, Nathan, you and I and a lot of other people around the power soccer community have had chances to go speak to people and speak to teams and stuff. And, I used to think like, well, I guess we'll just speak to soccer teams because we play soccer. But
Yep.
really, I think it goes so much farther than that, because it's, again, what do we have in common? We're trying to win. We're trying to be the best athletes we can be. We're trying to work together. We have goals that we either get to or fall short. We're working towards. Like, there's just so many things. I feel like, I'm never gonna skate in hockey, even though I wish I was a hockey player. But there's so many things that like we could talk to, the Wild players about, just what their
Yeah.
mentality is and how to win a game, how to be in the big moments. And so
Yeah.
that's so cool that I did not know that you had done that. That's super cool. And I bet you got a lot out of that because, again, I mean, he's one of the best in the world, and if not, the history of that sport. So there's got to be stuff that you can take.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think like every elite athlete, including you too. You mentioned hard work and a work ethic, and I think that's huge too for anyone watching this, any sport, anywhere. Any elite athlete would tell you that the amount of time they put in, like you were mentioning with the drill that you talked about. And Pete, I know you've talked about similar drills with kicking and passing, where you guys put in a lot of time and work, and that's why you are like elite athletes today, so good at your sport.
No, absolutely. And for people wondering, Katie, is also an elite athlete. We don't have to get into all that now. We'll get into more of the get to know us at some point because this is about Nathan. But just wanted to
Mhm.
drop that nugget in there. Katie also understands what it's like to put in the hard work and have that winner mentality. But again, we can talk about that later. Nathan, obviously you do a lot for the sport, but what do you do outside of the sport? Obviously hobbies, and you've got a job, because obviously you and I've talked about this a lot, where it's just, I think it's so important that other athletes and the people outside of our sport see that like we're so well-rounded as humans and individuals.
Yeah.
Obviously we all have hopes and dreams for professional lives and careers and that kind of stuff, and it's so cool to see like obviously everybody's really good at this sport, but they
Yeah.
also have a life that they put work into, in their profession. And, a lot of people have some really cool jobs. So just talk a
Yeah.
little bit about what you do when you're not being Mr. President or, the goalie for our team.
I'm a family guy at heart. I love being around my family, the people I care about, and that includes just really close friends. I really enjoy tight-knit relationships. For my job, I'm a user experience designer for Best Buy Corporate. Um, what that means is basically I and I'm working on the Best Buy website and app every day. It's kind of different every day of kind of what we're doing, whether it's design or research or kind of a little bit of everything. But at the core of what I do, I'm looking at the experience of a user that will interact with a specific part of our website. So it's been a lot of fun. I started there as an intern right out of college. My degree is in product design. So I got that from the University of Minnesota. I spent most of my college career focusing on making products or experiences that somebody like I can use. So like really focusing on the accessibility part. Outside of that, I really enjoy learning new things. I'm always trying to find something new to learn. And then I'm really grounded or rooted in my faith. I really have taken a deep dive into learning more about my faith. I have a tattoo on my arm that says "Roll by Faith." I got that a couple of years ago with my sister. 9 times out of 10, you will find on my TV that I have some kind of sport on. And then that one time I might start a new show or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like because you're kind of talking about what you're just talking about, that ties into our next question. And it's kind of like back to power soccer. But
Mhm.
over your career, what has it taught you? What lessons have you learned? How has it made you grow as a person?
Ooh, I could go many directions with this. Um, Never be afraid to be who you are. Um, I know there was a lot of moments when I would kind of look at Pete and be like, oh, like Pete can do it this way. Or I would look at some other teammates and be like, man, I should play like them or be like them. And it's like, well, wait a minute, why? Like, I've gotten here because of who I am. Especially lately, it's taught me to really be comfortable in who I am and what I do and what I bring to the table. Because, like I said, everybody brings their own unique thing to the table, and really being comfortable in that is something that I've really been learning lately. But it's definitely made me who I am today.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, we've got some rapid fire questions for Nathan. That's when the fun's going to begin, folks, because all those questions, soccer related, not soccer related, they're going to generate some good answers. So when we get back, we'll have Katie fire off these questions for Nathan.
All right, guys, welcome back. Like Pete said, we are now going to do some rapid fire questions. So Nathan, the first one is, who is the funniest person on your team?
Great start. I'm gonna go Zach.
Okay. And then what is your specialty in power soccer?
I'm a defender.
And who is your favorite or like favorite music artist or favorite song?
Favorite music artist is Luke Combs, um, country artist. Um, First one that comes to mind, it's by him. Beautiful
Putting
Crazy.
you on the spot here.
Yeah, no kidding. I had it
That's
and
a
then
good
I
song. I like
blanked.
that song.
Yeah.
Next one, we kind of went over this a little bit, but what would you tell your younger self?
Work hard, it can be done, and always ask why not.
I like it. Next one, we talked about favorite athletes, but who is your favorite power soccer athlete?
Favorite power soccer athlete. I gotta go to Jordan Dickey. I'm sorry, Pete. I
Oh,
gotta go Jordan. I
that's
gotta go Jordan.
Love that.
easily one of my favorites.
Okay. Next one, who on your team would do the best in like the Hunger Games?
While you're thinking about this, I had thought about for Shockwave, but I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I would go Lindsay all day long. because yeah, uh, her ability to hunt, like she would destroy every one of us. And she's on the U.S. team too, so um, yeah, I would say Lindsay.
Can I just say that's who I thought as well for our team.
Okay.
But can I also just
I
say
can confirm this was the answer.
yes? Also for the Shockwave though, Tiffany Ostrom, she's a mom and she's got CP power, and so basically she's superhuman. And so like, and I've been socked in the shoulder by Tiff many a
Yeah.
time. And
Yep.
one hit and you're out. So like I kind of like I know Lindsay's a hunter and that's definitely up there, but I think Tiffany would just she'd be whacking fools.
Yeah, I was between Lens and Tiff for sure. I've been on the receiving end of those punches too. They hurt. So
Okay, so Nathan, imagine it's the World Cup final. You can choose, you're coming out, the fans are in the stadium, everybody's cheering, and you can choose your walkout music. What are you choosing?
it's not a very common song. It's a new song that I just kind of found. I can send it to you if you need it to, but it's called The Devil Tried to Get Me. So it's like a pump up song. It talks about how like even though the devil tries to get you, like the Lord is always there with you. So good luck, basically. That's what comes to mind.
Next one, off the top of your head, what is your best power soccer highlight?
Before I was a goalie, I scored 6 goals in our semifinal. Do you remember that game, Pete?
Yeah, I wonder who assisted all those goals.
Yeah, some not important person.
Wonder who it could be.
Who can say?
Yeah. So yeah, that moment definitely sticks out. We won that game 9-6, I think, and I had
Oh,
6
wow.
of the 9 goals. So that
So really,
definitely
you're
should.
like the best player on the court, actually.
I agree. No, I wouldn't have gotten there without Pete and Riley. But that moment definitely stands out. And then just missing the U.S. National team is kind of a highlight of my career. So
Just one last question, just to wrap it up. But for your career, or for this year actually, what is one short-term and then one long-term goal that you have?
yeah, short-term goal would be that the U.S. team goes to Arizona and defends the Cooper Championship. That's definitely a short-term goal. And then long-term goal, um, I'm gonna go from a business perspective and really, I want us to really begin to reimagine how people think about our game. It's really gonna be a process for people to really get more fans and get more traction on our game. But really begin to reimagine how power soccer is looked at in the US and in the world. I would say that I really begin to reimagine how power soccer is viewed.
Nathan, thanks for being on the very first episode of PK Corner. Like I said, it's fun getting to sit down with you and I guess any of the guests that we're going to have on here to just get to know them a little bit better, get to know their backgrounds, get to hear how, they were built to be the people and athletes they are now. It's something that sometimes we casually gloss over because we're so entrenched in playing the sport and training hard and working hard and that kind of stuff. But it's really, I tell everybody, like, you got to slow down and enjoy the process and enjoy things around you. And we've really enjoyed having you on the very first episode of PK Corner, first of many here as we get going with this new media team here. And so thanks for joining us tonight, Nathan. And like I said, we appreciate you being on with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to see what you guys can do. So Thank you so much for allowing me to be your first guest, and it's only going to be better from here. So,
All right, with that, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time here on PK Corner. More episodes to come with Pete and Katie.